Today, I am going to try out the absolute cheapest store-bought gear and put it to the test. The sport of fishing as a whole has become extremely expensive, so I have to solve the question, will the cheapest tackle on the shelves actually work? Will these rods, reels, and baits hold up to expensive gear, or is it just junk we should forget about? Well, stay tuned and figure out. I decided to take the ultralight rod approach again so I could target multiple species. The cheapest rod I could find was the classic Ugly Stik GX2. It is a two-piece ultralight as well. It is extremely flimsy, so hopefully it will hold up. The most budget-friendly reel I could find was this Lew's Mr. Trout for 20 bucks. The rooster tail is a classic multi-species bait, and it's also really cheap, so I grabbed a few. I got some of these panfish magnets in a kit as well. And a few floats to go with them also. These swim baits were on sale, so I thought I would grab a few. I got some 4-pound line for the Lew's reel and then headed out. I thought I would give the river that was close to the store a try for a few minutes. If that doesn't work out, then I have some good spots on the lake we can really put this rod to the test on. The rod and reel look surprisingly good for the price. The Ugly Stik is only 5 feet long, so it almost feels like a kid's rod. This 4-pound line was only 6 bucks, so I'm just gonna hope it doesn't break immediately. With everything put together, I headed down to the river. Want to have this exact setup? I am giving it away to a viewer from this video. All you have to do is watch till the end, like the video, leave a comment about your favorite budget gear, and subscribe. I will pick one lucky winner and ship it to your house. This water was freezing cold compared to the last time I fished here. I'm just looking for signs of life now. That's a micro smallmouth. Not really what we're after though. I swapped up to this panfish magnet under a float. Maybe these cold water fish want a really slow presentation. I went down to a little bit deeper section of the river. Well, this tiny rock bass isn't our goal either. I gave this spot just a few more minutes. I just kept up with that panfish magnet. Well, that's species number 3 already. This spot clearly isn't working though. It's time to move. When I got to the lake, I put my kayak in and tied on a little cheap micro crankbait. Hopefully, it nets us some bigger fish. That was pretty much first cast, but he came unhooked. There's a solid little largemouth. That's also species number 4. It looks like switching spots was a good plan. They are definitely biting here. I'm just going to keep throwing that crankbait. It seems like it's working. That one is a bit smaller, but he had that ugly stick bent pretty good. I decided to swap back up to a panfish magnet. These docks normally hold huge schools of panfish. It looks like they are definitely here. My bait is getting bit the second it hits the water. I'm looking for something bigger to bite under this dock. These are mostly bluegill schools, but I know some big crappie and even bass will sit under here. Starting to see why this bait got its name. I've also added a bit of real worm to the hook, and now it's just unstoppable. These bigger bluegill are so much fun on this light action rod. As much as I want to sit here on this school all day, soon I need to move on to search for some bigger smallmouth or largemouth. I picked that micro crankbait back up and started casting. That's a nice little smallmouth. These micro setups are so much fun to try sometimes. While the fish may be smaller, it makes everything feel so strong. I went back to that rock wall and kept throwing that crankbait. And that's another solid little bass for this micro setup. It clearly seems like these budget setups can absolutely work if it's all you can afford. I highly recommend going lighter on the rod action because it just makes everything feel so sensitive. I would call that challenge complete.